Welcome to my workshop. My name is Tomasz and you're watching Casual DIY channel. In today's video I want to tackle a problem of a dust collection for my table saw Evolution Rage 5S. I want to do a over the blade dust extraction that will help to reduce the amount of dust flying around in my workshop. Now if you do have this saw, you know that the blade guard that has got dust extraction on it is actually not very good, and it causes more problems that it actually helps you during your work. So we're going to try to tackle that problem today and we'll see how it goes. The issue with the dust is even greater when you install a zero clearance plate. Then the dust doesn't have the space to actually escape to the extraction underneath the machine, and it's just flying at you. So let's start. For this project I'm going to be using plywood. I've got this offcut that I found in my workshop. It's two pieces of 18mm plywood sandwiched together. Okay, now I'm just going to trim it to the correct sizes, square up the edges, and after that we'll be cutting out the shape that will become the hood of our dust collection. So I'm just transferring the shape of the blade and the riving knife onto the piece so I know exactly where I need to be when I'm going to be designing and cutting out the shape of the base. We're going to have the entrance for our dust port probably somewhere around here. Okay, let's cut out that shape on my bandsaw. Now to make the size for this I'm going to be using 4mm plexiglass like this one. It's 30 centimeters long, 20 centimeters wide, and I'm just going to split it in half. Back at my bandsaw I decided to cut out the shape of the front of the plywood on the plexiglass as well. With my sander I'm just going to refine the shape of the plywood base, and after that we'll be pre-drilling a hole for a dust port. And as you can see I've set up the whole thing under a slight angle to direct the dust port even more where the dust will mainly come from. Now I'm going to attach the acrylic sheets to our plywood base. With my small table saw sled I'm just cutting out a piece of plywood that will become the back of our dust extraction hood. And I'm just going to use a couple of screws to hold it in place. Now in the back piece that we just done, I want to cut out a slot so it will accommodate the riving knife. For that I've set up the fence, my table saw, and we're just going to make the cut now. Right then, now it's time to mount the dust port. As I said, I'm going to be using hot glue to do this. It's just the easiest and quickest way to do it, and it will hold just fine. Right, so that's the blade guard ready. Hopefully it will work correctly, but we'll test that in a few moments. First of all, we need to think how we're going to actually attach this to our table saw so it's a nice, steady and adjustable position. Okay, so let's experiment a little bit on how to actually attach the dust cover. To do that, I'm gonna try to use the fence itself, okay? It has got a strong clamping position. It's nice and stable. It's not going to go anywhere. And in top of it, it actually has got two T-track slots. So I've got two bolts, just like here. I've got a piece of plywood that's going to go like that. I'm going to pre-drill some holes, get the bolts through. Then I'm going to attach a piece of pine. This one is about 25 or 30 millimeters in thickness. I'm going to attach it to this little piece here. Okay, we're going to create a groove with a router in which a T-track will sit through like that, and this will give it the ability to go back left to right. Okay, so it will give me the ability to adjust it to where the fence is gonna go. I'm gonna have a star knob over here to lock it in place, and then another block that will allow the cover to go up and down with the T-track as well. So let's have a look if that's gonna actually work, and if it will be too much weight for the fence itself. So yeah, let's go ahead and check that out. Let's pre-drill two holes for the bolts in the plywood block. Now let's connect the plywood block and the pine board. Now with my router, I'm just cutting out a channel that will house the T-track, and it will give us greater stability in the whole construction. Now I'm going to pre-drill two holes for two bolts that will hold the T-track in place when needed. Okay, so I've cut out another piece of pine which will be located like this, and the way I'm going to attach it to the blade cover, I'm actually going to use pocket holes, quick and easy and simple to do. Okay, so in that piece of pine that we made the pocket holes, I want to have two channels. These will accommodate the bolts that will attach to the T-track we've got already prepared. Okay, I've placed some marks on my fence so I know exactly where to start and where to finish. Okay, let's make the grooves. Right, let's head over to the table saw. It's time to put everything together, and obviously we'll test it to see if this solution is any good. Now, unfortunately, I don't have enough wing nuts, so I'm just using normal nuts. However, I will replace them with normal wing nuts when I buy them. Right then, let's do a test cut. First of all, we're going to do a cut without any dust extraction, and you'll see how much dust there is generated after one cut. As you can see, I hovered the floor, so the floor is absolutely clean. There's no dust anywhere, or negligible amount. Okay, so I'm going to make a cut now, and you'll see how much dust there is generated without any dust extraction. Let's do one more cut so you can see better the results. Okay, let's check out the dust. There's a bit over here. Loads of overspray here. A lot under the machine. And obviously there's a ton just behind it. Okay, I'm gonna hoover everything out, and we're gonna do the same test with the dust cover for the blade. Let's check out. There's still a little bit on top, but I think there's less on the floor. There's definitely far less overspray. However, there's still tons of dust underneath the machine, as we can see. And at the back, still a lot. And there you go, guys. It does provide a bit of dust collection, especially if you've got the zero cleaning plate and there is no massive overspray at the front of the machine, basically hitting you as you stand in front of the machine. However, as you've seen, it's not impacting the dust that is going underneath the machine and at the back exit as well. Okay, so one of the improvements that you can do to this particular saw. However, in the future videos, I will also try to sort out the problem where the dust is coming from the underneath of the machine, as in most cases that's the biggest problem. So that's the first step of sorting out the dust collection of this table saw. But stay tuned for the remaining part. So this machine will produce far less dust, and it will give you a better and healthier work environment. Now, as you've seen, it's fully adjustable. Okay, so you can slide it to the left or to the right depending on where your fence is. So it will the T-track itself is as long as the maximum reach on the right hand side of the saw, so you are covered there. On top of it, at the back, you've got the ability to raise and lower the hood itself, so you've got all the flexibility you need to set it up correctly. Obviously, in my case, I need to get some wing nuts, as having just the normal nuts is definitely not the way to go, guys. So yeah, get yourself a nice pack of wing nuts for this to work nicely and efficiently. Now, I hope this video was inspiring to you and you will be able to do something similar in your workshop. If you enjoyed today's video, drop me that like button down below. And as always, guys, I've got a full playlist just over here. You can click and check all the upgrades I made in my workshop. Some cool videos there. So I'll see you on those videos. Take care.